It is weird. It's weird because like later on in Mass Effect Andromeda, the characters also do that, but that's a game that came out in like 2016. So it's like it doesn't have as much of an excuse as the first one.
Dude, I love that. I don't even upset about it.
Yeah.
Even in newer games. Yeah, just eyes open. I love that. They're always intent, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right?
Dude, even the characters in Minecraft blink now.
It just makes me feel weird though, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's odd at first, but you know, you get used to it, and then it fixes itself later on as you go down the spiral. Speaking of spirals, welcome everybody to another episode of the Chaos Continuum podcast. We took a break because I broke my face. What?
Yeah, you did the intro this time. Usually I'm saying some stupid shit. Yeah.
Well, I did the intro because otherwise we're going to sit here and talk about the eyes of Mass Effect for an hour. Welcome. We're trying to stretch this one out a little bit longer because we missed an episode. We kind of missed two and then, gave up on it.
It's just been our best. I think on both of our ends, it's been a little...
Well, I've been trying to make, proper videos and stuff, which have been doing really well. That Gears of War 2 video is now looking to pop off more so than, the Meaning of Death one. And it's weird. I forget that people on the internet are just kind of brain dead and they say whatever the fuck they want. But, it's so wild.
I haven't even been reading the comments and stuff, but...
Oh, I see every single one of them.
I'd imagine you do.
But, some of them just, come out of left field. In every single Gears of War video I make, I talk about how I don't really care for a remaster. They'd be neat or whatever, but, I don't really see the point in doing remasters. And for most games in general, unless the game is really, really old or it's just, struggles to play. Mass Effect is a great example of that, but their remaster is just a visual upscale. It doesn't make the game any nicer to play, except for a few, quality of life things, but it doesn't, overhaul the game to modernize it. Like the Dead Space remake or anything. But
I feel like the Dead Space remake was one of the few that I actually really enjoyed.
Yeah, to me, there's a difference between a remake and a remaster, and a remake is a pleasant surprise, but a remaster is the MCC and shit like that, I don't really care about, because it's not, Halo 3 doesn't look that bad compared to, the upscaled version on the MCC, And
it's not one of the remasters that are remakes or whatever, when they remade, San Andreas and everything.
Yeah.
You know, I actually kind of like that. I like that they
those are games that, need it, But,
yeah, no, exactly.
Games from the 360 era are still not horrible looking, and I think they kind of hold on their own.
No, I definitely agree, too.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't wait 50 years when GTA 5 gets remastered.
Dude, I can't wait for Skyrim version 15 to come out,
I didn't think... Do you think we're at the peak of visual quality right now?
No, obviously not, because things can obviously get better. And they probably will continue to get better slowly and surely. I think right now we've hit a kind of breaking point where people are stopping to care about visuals, but that's also because I think games on average are worse now. Not that games are obviously better, but if you take 5 AAA games, you'll have one really, really good game. Versus before, if you picked 5 AAA games, you'd have 5 decent games at least. But
well, and I think
Call of Duty can have. I think games like Call of Duty can have the most realistic, super ultra high def models for guns and vehicles and the map and rocks and everything like that. But it's Modern Warfare 2, the new one, is obviously much better looking than Red Dead Redemption 2. That's kind of 50-50 because Red Dead has its own art style and everything. But as far as real life fidelity, there are things in Modern Warfare 2 that almost look like they were grabbed, and that's awesome. But it's also not a great game, so I don't really care. Well,
that's my thing, right? That I'll play a game if the visuals can be shitty, but if I like the gameplay and the substance of the game, I'm totally down.
Yeah, look at
you know what I mean?
Elden Ring. Elden Ring and most of the Soulsborne games, they're not the highest fidelity games.
No, exactly.
And they don't necessarily have the most, not detail, but they just don't have fidelity. I guess I already said it, but like the art style of them carries them to a whole new level because they're just
I
so
was gonna say,
undeniably
like,
themselves.
but I like 9 times out of 10, I much prefer a more creative art style like that than I
Yeah.
do of like a realism thing.
This
You know
is
what I mean?
this is also something I've like just started to kind of understand people's points on when they talk about how Gears of War 4 and 5 look compared to like Gears of War 2 and 3, where it's like very obviously Gears 5 looks better than Gears of War 2, way and above,
Yeah.
100 times, obviously.
Yeah.
But like the art style and the design of the characters and the armor and the world and the buildings and the foundations of it are all like they're a bit too bright for what the setting is.
Yeah. Because yeah. Like, could you? Yeah, I know. I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
Could you
it's
imagine
like
if Elden Ring was like had like cyberpunk's aesthetic?
like a cyberpunk Soulsborne game.
Like that. Yeah, like a. Well, no, no, no. I mean, just like the like design of it. Yeah. You know, like you're in like this gloomy looking world, and suddenly like a neon boss pops up. You know?
Yeah, it's just Adam Smasher.
Yeah, it just. Oh, dude,
My
I
favorite
really
part
like
is
the
when
Soulsborne games.
he shows up and he says it's smashing time. But yeah,
And then, yeah, I really like those Soulsborne games. Like I've recently played Bloodborne, right?
yeah,
Like off and on, and I think I just really I don't know what it is about those games that I like. It's not even the fact that it's hard and I like that. I think it's just everything. You know what I mean?
yeah. I
It's hard to
mean,
explain.
I like the world and the aesthetic of those games. I don't like playing them as much. I like games that have got a good what do you call it, like a riposte or like a parry mechanic. Like For Honor has a good one.
Yeah.
God of War, Jedi Survivor, and like Sekiro and Ghost of Tsushima. But like just the standard kind of gameplay of like Elden Ring and Dark Souls is not really there for me. Because I like when it feels like a duel, but when you do like Dark Souls 3 and you're fighting like a literal fucking giant and all you do is like stab its ankles and like roll away, that's like where I'm much less interested in it.
See, but like when I fight a giant in my Soulsborne games, right, and I'm like stabbing the ankles, I sit there and I'm like, you know, if giants really existed and this was how we fought them, this is how we would do it.
Just
You know
stab
what I
it.
mean?
I don't think it is.
Like-
I don't think you would win that fight. I don't think you can.
I don't know.
You go up to an
That's what
elephant.
we try to do, right?
Go to an
That's what we
elephant
try
and
to
try to
do.
fight it with a sword, you know?
I think you'd walk into the battlefield and you just see one knight shanking this giant's ankles and just rolling. You know?
Yeah. I think we'd play a little more safe
Yeah.
like that, you know? Like how we used to hunt Mastodon and shit. But, like, yeah.
That's such a stupid concept, man. God. I think I also what I like about Elden Ring is maybe the combat isn't always so fun, but I think the payoff when I finally beat a boss I can't feels really good. You know?
That can be. I think to me, I just have never really understood the mechanics of, like, Dark Soul games and stuff like that. And obviously, they don't really tell you either. But it's like,
Yeah.
there's small things that'll, like, catch me off guard or, like, piss me off. And it just, like, to me, those games end up feeling, like, unfair. So I, like, turn away from them. And I don't, like... The slog through for, like, the satisfaction doesn't really work for me unless it's a game that I understand. Like, that's why I had a lot of fun playing God of War Ragnarok and beating, like, Gná, like, the final big boss, because it felt like every time I died, I understood, like, why I died and why I fucked up and where I could, like, get better at it. Versus, like, when I play Elden Ring, every time I, like, fight a new enemy, they got a new mechanic and they got a new thing, and I don't understand what's happening, and then I get floored, and I'm like, well...
I can't remember,
Fuck.
but there's a few bosses where you die to it and you're like, hey, well, what do you want me to do? You know what I mean? Right? And like, and you sit there and it's a whole, it's this whole mess. Because it's like, okay, well, I can't jump over it. I can't dodge through it. I can't seem to block it. Like, what the hell do you want me to do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like my one issue with Elden Ring and fighting.
That's
Maybe
why
that's just me. I think it's a great game, but it just, yeah.
Yeah, it's also, it feels like so open, which isn't a bad thing. Like, it definitely obviously works because people love it, but like, I kind of prefer the structured gameplay of something like Ragnarok or Jedi Survivor, where it's like you have a framework and you have a specific set of tools that are like really well designed for a playstyle. Like, you are given a specific playstyle and you're meant to make it work, versus like Elden Ring. There's like 50 different builds and play styles you can go for, and it kind of depends on what you like come across. But like, again, like I don't know anything about Soulsborne games, and I'm not gonna sit and watch a 3-hour lore breakdown to help understand it. So
I just sleep to that stuff, man.
I can't, dude. I've been trying to.
I sleep to lore videos. It's crazy.
I've been trying to like catch up on 40K. I mean, I know the lore decently enough, but like I've now started getting into the game side of it and reading like my textbook of a rule book, and I fucking can't. Like there's every little tiny piece. I feel like I need a notebook full of notes whenever I actually sit down and play the game. Because it's like fucking, there's so much to it, and that's what Elden Ring feels like.
When I see, that's like my issue with 40K is I think it's really cool, but it feels like there's so much, and I don't know where a cool starting point is. You know what I mean? Like, sure, you can start with the Horus Heresy, but then it feels like it bleeds into so many other things, and I'm sitting there okay, now what? You know what I mean?
The easiest, I mean, like 40K for me, there's three ways you can go about it. You can go about it and just like pay attention to the lore and the story, right? Like you don't have to give a shit about the games or anything like that, or factions and shit like that. Just pay attention to the characters and like all that kind of shit and read the books. Then you have like the painting and modeling side of stuff, which is when you actually get your hands on the figures and you start putting them together and gluing them together in specific ways, and you paint them and you come up with your own designs and styles and all that kind of shit, which you also need to be talented for, otherwise they look like shit. And then like the third part, which kind of goes hand in hand with the modeling stuff, is like the gaming side of it. And I'm discovering more and more that all of like the Warhammer like games, like video games, are surprisingly authentic to the board game. Like as far as the top-down ones, like the first-person shooter type stuff is more video gamey, but like a lot of the top-down games, as far as I can tell, are they're based on, and they're like a passion project based on the board game.
Like,
I don't know so much about RPGs, but they're just like, what do you call it? Real-time strategy-ish type things, or kind of XCOM-ish. I mean, at least for most of them. There are also just like the regular action ones, like Space Marine and Deathwing and stuff like that, and Vermintide. Vermintide's really good. I think it's on Game Pass if you want to download it with me. It's another 100 gigabyte game, but
whoop-de-doo. It's like my Destiny update.
But yeah, it depends on like how far you want to go into it, because if you like want a full Warhammer army, that's like you're getting to the process. If you want like the actual like modeled army like on the tabletop, you got to do your research on like which faction you want to play and which ones you want to do, because like to do a full, I think 2,000 points is the standard, like because each unit has like their own point value, whatever. A 200 point army will like, or 2,000 point army will cost you like around maybe $160-200 right out the gate, which it's not easy to like get into. That's why like it is helpful that they have a lot of like battle packs that is like it comes with everything. Like it comes with the dice and everything you need, and it comes with models for 2 like small armies, and that's the kind of stuff like you can split with a friend, just like split it 50-50, and like they get one army, you get the other.
If I was like living near you, I think I'd like invest in it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because it's.
I think I don't really have anybody else that's into that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, compared to a game like D&D, like D&D is all basically in your mind. Like having models and having a map and shit like that helps, but at the end of the day, you can sit here with like a person on a call and play D&D just like that. So it's like that one's easier to get into with people literally anywhere versus like Warhammer. Outside of the video games, like the tabletop, you need to be, in person. Like you can't really like get someone into it over the phone.
I find like that's also my issue with Yu-Gi-Oh right now, because I like kind of stopped buying and building decks. Because you know what? There's not a lot of things that happen with Yu-Gi-Oh.
I stopped building. I stopped even attempting to buy Magic decks way back in high school, because all of my buddies were like, "Oh, that's cool. You bought the $15 starter?" Yeah, well, I spent $150 to get the best cards in the game on Amazon. And I'm like, okay, cool. So
it's
like
of it, I find
a lot of card games like that. I find like unless you like do your research and you like build it and you like min-max everything. It's like playing a game of chess, but the enemy team has nothing but queens on the board, you know? Like, it's just unfair to max.
That was my issues. I think I used such an old school deck, right?
Yeah,
that I would play against my friends back in high school that have like, and like I had a Samurai 6 deck, right?
Yeah.
Which was, and my whole play was it was a lot of summoning and returning from the graveyard cards, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, my goal was to get my monsters into my hand because the Samurai 6 are playing each other, right? It was a Samurai 6 warrior deck, you know?
Yeah.
So, and a lot of that, like at one point, I don't know if this is like rules, but we played it this way. But there's this one warrior card that if you place it down, you could summon a 4-star warrior card, and also that card basically acts like a barrier, right? So the enemies can only attack that card. But then I'd play a second one, and we had determined by the rules that as long as I have 2 of those same cards, you can't hit anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was a little broken. You know, and then like people started bringing like newer decks, and suddenly this deck that I'd spent a couple of years like building and trading cards for, right, was just completely fucking obsolete. You know what I mean? Not completely obsolete, but like the main strategies that I had just started to really suck ass, and I couldn't keep up.
But know? yeah, I get what you mean.
Because I didn't want to go out and buy all this new stuff when I had like 500 old cards. You know?
Yeah, because it's like
I didn't want to start spending all this money on packs and stuff, right? Trying to build a brand new deck when I don't know anything about the new cards.
Yeah.
So, I think I still have the Yu-Gi-Oh deck somewhere. I think it's actually sitting in my closet in a box.
I think I actually have 2 Yu-Gi-Oh decks that I've used once.
I really like Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid.
I never got into any of the card games. Like, no Pokemon, no Yu-Gi-Oh, no nothing.
Well, Pokemon in my mind was always trading, yeah? You know? Like, I don't really know anybody who actually played Pokemon.
Like, trade?
You know?
That was always something that confused me, like, trading Pokemon cards, like, literally just trading them out for somebody else's hand, or, like, cards or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I was always the kind of person, and I still am, where it's like, if I buy something, like, I'm buying it for me. Like, I'm not going to buy it with intent to, like, give it away or sell it at some point.
Oh, I never, like, so Pokemon cards I never understood, because people would buy them and then be like, I want that one, it says they'll trade you for this. It was just a collector thing. Yu-Gi-Oh! I kind of understood, because I'm trying to build a deck to play against people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right?
But I also get, like...
So if I have all these cards these cards I'm not going to use, and they've got cards that I need, right? Like, I think it's a worthy investment, because I'm building up this deck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess, because they have, like, the random, like, packs of, like, 5 or whatever.
Yeah. It wasn't exactly right.
Yeah.
And it was, even if I'd buy, like... And I just go and buy starter packs, because I think, oh, man, I could build a deck off this. You know what I mean? And I get there and realize that it just doesn't work with what I'm building. But, like, one of my buddies would have, like, 3 Samurai 6 cards that I need, and be like, hey, man, I got this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let's make a trade, right? You know? And then now I'm building my main competitive deck.
Yeah. And that's very much in the realm of, like, what Warhammer is. Because, like, the first Warhammer thing I ever bought was an Age of Sigmar, like, double box, where it came with, like, 2 armies, you know? But it was, like, an army of, like, human dudes and army of ghost dudes, and you can't really combine them into one. But so I just had, like, these 2 things, and I thought it was, like, full. And then I found out it's, like, each of those halves is, like, the 4th of a size of a full army, and I dropped, like, $180 on it, and I'm like, damn. But now I also, like, don't have anyone to play with, so I just use them as, like, D&D miniatures, and I never, like... There's almost no resources online for Age of Sigmar, so unless I sat there and I, like, read the book and I somehow understood it on my own, like, I wasn't going to be able to get into that, you know? Versus, like, 40K has all the resources, and then, like, Horus Heresy has almost nothing as well. Because it's a lot newer, but it's, like...
Yeah.
It's just an insurmountable pile. It's like trying to get into Star Wars today, if you've, like, never seen anything. Like, there's just so much to it. That it's like, it would take you years to just get caught up.
Yeah, it's complicated, all that stuff. So, speaking of Star Wars, who's your favorite Star Wars character? Break this down.
That's not at all the question I expected. But, like, I don't know.
What did you expect? What did you expect?
I don't know. I don't know about, like, a favorite character, because, like, none of the characters in Star Wars really speak to me. At a time, they might, but, like, I don't know, probably just like Darth Vader, just because he's cool and like he kind of dominates whatever scene he's in. But there's no like characters in Star Wars that I can root for. Like I've never been a big fan of like Han Solo or anything like that, or Boba Fett, just because he looks cool. Maybe probably Captain Rex is up there.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I like Darth Vader just like on a character level. Like if I had to pick one, I mean the bar is pretty fucking low. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Star Wars doesn't have a lot of complex characters. Even Darth Vader with all the books and the comics and everything, like I get it, but like he's not that interesting to me. Like, oh yeah, he's angry all the time and he feels pain all the time and it's
there's far more interesting characters in fiction. You know?
Yeah. I mean? Star Wars boiling down to it is good guy versus bad guy, and like that's as complex as it gets.
None of them are good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that too. Like
I am a strong believer that, and we talked about this when you were talking about your new video, right?
Yeah.
Like what makes a hero and what makes somebody good, and I really don't think that there's really a good guy in Star Wars.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
I don't think, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't think of one.
Like there's nobody that sits there and is like a hero, you know?
I think some of the most of the clones.
With Star Wars is the clones, right? But you know,
yeah, they are still also fighting a galactic war over politics.
Yeah, over politics, right?
It is over politics too, because the Separatists don't really do anything bad, right? Like, I mean, yeah, they're controlled by like the Sith or whatever, but like so is the Republic. But like, as far as I remember, the Separatists don't necessarily do anything bad. Like the worst the Separatists do, off the top of my head, is like they turn a blind eye to stuff like the slavers and like the drug dealers. But like the Jedi work with Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the Republic knows that there's the Hutt space, right?
Yeah, the whole outer rim.
The Jedi, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's insane. Like they get to Tatooine, and there's like, oh, there's slavery here, right? And then they never go back to solve the slavery issue.
Yeah. They're like, well, it's not our problem, you know.
It's not ours. Like it's literally you're watching two government like they're both corrupt, right?
Yeah.
Like the Jedi aren't heroes; they're just like special soldiers. I feel like they try to like push this message that the Jedi are like we're not just the Republic lapdogs, but that's what they are.
You know what's really I just like thought of this right now. What's really funny is that the Jedi are just worst version of the Space Marines from 40K, because the Space Marines at the end of the day are like warrior monks. Like when they're not in their armor cutting monsters in half with chainsaw swords, they're like meditating and like practicing their like their totems and stuff, which is exactly what the Jedi do, except for the Jedi are like super what do you call it? Morally fragile, you know, like they do not have any strong sympathies that they put a leg up on, versus like the Space Marines are like completely unwielding to their beliefs, you know.
It's just, and also the Jedi's beliefs are just so weird, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't make any sense.
We cannot feel anything. We cannot have kids. And I'm like, it's a cult, you know?
Yeah. Like it's based on,
and it's crazy because it's I don't know. Sorry, continue.
It feels antithetical to me to say like, oh, we love everything and we like want to bring peace to everything, but it's like we're not allowed to actually love anything, so we don't have anything to fight for other than this book that says we should, which is, you know, that's what a fucking cult is. And
they're like, well, we're the protectors of the galaxy. You're clearly not.
Yeah, because you let a lot of shit go, man. Like
you're clearly not, right?
Yeah, it's like, so bad that one of your Jedi, multiple of your Jedi, one of your Jedi was kidnapped and hunted for sport. Like, that does not seem like you got a grip on things, you know?
Well, and then some of them are just leaving to become Sith.
Yeah, because it's so fucked up.
I don't think it's the dark side. I don't think it's the dark side that'll lose to them. Honestly, I think it's the fact that the Jedi are retarded. Yeah, I think Anakin was right.
The dark side clouds my judgment. That shit is the like laziest fucking excuse in the world. Like the things that came out later that said, well, actually the Jedi Temple was built on an ancient Sith artifact that clouded. Why the fuck would you build your Temple of Light on top of the artifact that is the opposite of you? What the fuck is that bullshit logic? Like
Like Yoda hid near like a dark side thing to hide himself, which I get that. I think if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, like he hit on Dagobah because it's like evilish.
Yeah, because it's a dark side nexus.
Yeah,
you know
that makes sense. But like,
why would you build your thing there? Why would you build it there?
You could say that, the Jedi in the modern day don't know. Well, who the fuck built the temple? That temple's been there a long ass time.
A whole Jedi cult lost to a Sith Lord. One.
Yeah.
That had multiple like they lost to a group that has the rule of 2. There's only 2.
Yeah.
Like, dude, how do you lose?
So the one thing I do like about Star Wars, and this is a theory that I've picked up from someone that I really like, and ironically enough, it comes from a video defending The Last Jedi, which is like a rare thing to see. But like, the theory I got from this dude, which I do kind of like for Star Wars, is that like the Force always has to have balance, right? Like whether the Jedi like it or not, there's balance. Like balance is not all light side, because all light side is not balance.
And I agree. Yeah.
So the reason the Sith have their rule of 2, I forget who did that to begin with. Was it like Darth Bane or whatever? But like anyway. Yeah, he did it not to keep them, like mischievous and like always trying to get the upper hand on the other and being the strongest, but in order to make it so that there were less Sith in the galaxy, because the less Sith they are, the stronger they are per Jedi. You know? Like if you have 1,000 Jedi and 2 Sith, those 2 Sith are going to be as strong as that 1,000 Jedi. Which I do kind of like as an explanation. And that makes more sense than, the Jedi Temple was just so happened to be built on the strongest Sith artifact in the galaxy, and we didn't notice.
Yeah, it's stupid.
It's wild that, like...
It's all stupid.
Fan theories create a more well-rounded story than, like, George Lucas. Like, George Lucas, he's done a lot for sci-fi and blockbusters in general, but, like... The original trilogy only really has 1.5 good movies, I think. And then when George Lucas just went on to do his own shit, it was all bad. And then the sequels were all bad because they didn't do anything... Not that they didn't do anything original, but they didn't do anything like... They were too scared to do anything risky, basically.
Well, and it's this whole thing that I don't care what happens next. You know what I mean? I want to know what happens before. Yeah? Because I want to believe that at some point the Jedi weren't what they were in the prequels. You know
that's what they're going to do. I think they're supposed to be making a trilogy of like High Republic, which is only like 500 years before the prequels, but it's their golden age or whatever the fuck.
I just think Star Wars is written really fucking stupid. Yeah,
it is. It is. I think just
none of it makes there's no hero. Luke Skywalker's a terrorist, and you can't tell me that he's not.
He is.
You know?
Yeah.
Finn, like you were talking about before. Finn, like leaves, like the storm, whatever they are.
Finn is the ultimate culmination of like we're gonna humanize stormtroopers and then blow them up by the millions a second later.
Yeah. By him though, which is even funnier, right? Because he knows some of these people. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just like turning.
Dude, the opening shot of The Force Awakens is Finn holding a dying stormtrooper in his arms, and the very last thing they do is blow up a base with thousands of stormtroopers on it. Like, that is so fucking stupid.
Yeah. You could maybe if they would have explained it in a different way, you know what I mean, or done something different, right? Yeah. You know, that it's like, it's just war.
If they made...
get behind that.
If they made Finn a defect in the way, like the Bad Batch, like when Order 66 happens, like they're all defected so they don't follow the order, right? And that makes them, different, and it gives them an excuse to be humanized and continue to be good guys even after, like, this horrible thing. If you said, like, that same thing for Finn, where, like, the stormtroopers are all brainwashed and they're all, like, they have their personalities changed, but Finn, just so for whatever reason, maybe he's force sensitive or whatever, is, like, able to resist it, and then he, like, breaks out of it, and he's like, oh, it's too late for the others. We can't help them, and then just shoots them anyways. Like, I would buy that more than him going, oh, yeah, they were all abducted from their families as children and forced to be child slave soldiers. Gun them down. Gun
them down. Let's not help them, boys.
Light them up.
I'm
rebel scum.
Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
There's no one to root for. Even in, like, the prequels and, like, the original trilogy. Like, I don't know. I think it's the fact that now obviously we're living in a world that is 40, almost 50 years removed at this point from the original trilogy, but like I don't have anything to root for as far as like Luke Skywalker goes. Because like I don't know.
It's not an interesting character.
It's not interesting in like the context of now. Like I'm sure if I watched it in 77, I would have had my fucking mind blown. But we're in 2023. My first Star Wars movie I watched was probably in like 2006, 2007. And it was probably the prequels. So like I don't know. I'm just never going to experience Star Wars in the way that a lot of people have, and it's I don't think it's a bad thing, but it's definitely just odd to me.
But I just think that you slap him down with other like heroes across fiction, right? You know what I mean?
Well, it's also like I'm thinking about it like it's not so much that it's old. I think it is just sort of bland. Like the atmosphere and the world, obviously Star Wars is like timeless, settingless, whatever. But like you look at Lord of the Rings, and Lord of the Rings still has really good characters that are really like they have depth and personality to them. And that came out, 50 years before Star Wars did. So I think it's a bad cop-out for me to say that it's only bad because it came out 40 years ago, because Tolkien fucking mastered that shit 100 years ago.
Yeah. Like, I think that when you slap down Luke Skywalker and a lot of those, like, the heroes that with other, like, heroes across fiction, he really sinks down to, like, bottom of the list. You know what I mean?
I think Star Wars is a great framework, but it's very clear that they were making it up as they went. Versus like other sci-fi stories like Cyberpunk or Mass Effect that are made with intention, and it's very clear. You're not done with it yet, but from Mass Effect 1 to 3, you can tell that this is the ending they've been building towards. I'm going to get some flack for that because people don't like the ending of Mass Effect 3. But like, it's obvious to see where it was going from the beginning. Versus like Star Wars. From Star Wars A New Hope to Return of the Jedi, it's obvious that George Lucas didn't really have that plan from the beginning, at least in the way it was done, and it just slowly stumbled into the place that it is.
It feels weird because they blew up the first Death Star, right?
And they just do it again.
and then here's a second one.
Yeah.
Like, what?
That's the biggest sign to me that they just like
what do you mean?
Didn't have an idea. And then they do it 2 more times. They have Starkiller Base, and then they have like the fleet of not Death Stars in the very last one.
It's like, God.
It's like okay, I get it. So big space laser.
It would be so much more interesting if they had Darth Sidious had broken the rule of 2 and generated a Sith army or something like that.
Yeah.
But I get it. You like space lasers.
I'll give like The Force Unleashed the credit. I mean, I still think Starkiller is way too overpowered and he doesn't really make sense for Star Wars, but like the idea of like the Sith creating a cloned army of like Force-tuned individuals, like at least that's something new and it's something interesting, and it's not just another fucking Death Star, you know? I am all the Sith and I am all the Jedi. Like it's the most like nonsensical, stupid like comic book shit ever.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I understand it in a comic book, but we're talking about a $200 million movie here. Like, I feel like somebody should be putting some fucking effort into it, you know?
Well, do you want to know what I think it is?
Huh.
Personally? It's like, how much worse can you get to, like, a planet-killing thing? Because his goal isn't to destroy the universe. You know what I mean? Right? Like, I think the Death Star... This is why I wish they would have not created sequels, because... How do you make it worse? What's a bigger threat? You know what I mean, right?
Well, I think you just don't go the threat route, because that can only get you so far. Like, Empire Strikes Back is better than A New Hope, I think, and Empire Strikes Back doesn't have a Death Star, because it doesn't need that big threat, because the main point of the movie is like the what do you call it? The character relationship between Vader and Luke, and like their whole duel, and it builds up to that the whole time. Like, you don't need a Death Star for it to be good. Or to be like have high stakes, you know. But like,
I'm not saying you need a Death Star. I'm just saying that why go down? That's my point. Is why did they go down that road? Because it's like you can't have anything worse. That was my point. You know
it's weird that like Empire Strikes Back proved that you could do a sequel without a Death Star and have it be more gripping and like better, and then Return of the Jedi immediately undid that by having another Death Star.
Yeah, like I like you don't. I think Star Wars is interesting when you kind of. I don't know. It's stupid.
Yeah, it is.
But I'm also not surprised they brought Emperor Palpatine back. Yeah.
I thought it sucked so
I never.
much. Like, why?
I think it was like a little silly. Right? But I'm not surprised they did that. Yeah.
My biggest thing is, like, Kylo Ren is the villain of the sequels. Why the fuck is Kylo Ren not the villain? Why do you have to bring Palpatine back to overshadow Kylo? You gotta have someone more evil than Kylo, so it makes more sense that Kylo could turn to the good side. Like, why not have the whole movie just be about Kylo coming to the light side? Or something, you know? Like...
Well, but like you said, balance, they still need a Sith. You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess, if you really want to push it. But, like, the man fucking exploded!
Like, there is no more Sith. You're right.
He exploded on the Death Star, like, and they don't even explain it. Somehow, Palpatine has returned.
They explained it. They explained it in a Robot Chicken episode.
Actually, yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Where he's just like falling all the way through. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking dumb, man. It's so stupid.
He's returned. I'm like, what? Why? Like,
somehow Palpatine has returned. Dude, the fact that they announced Palpatine returned in a Fortnite live event too, like, Jesus Christ. Speaking of stupid games, we got to play Sea of Thieves again. Oh man, I can't wait. If I do start streaming again.
You maybe played it for like an...
Exactly. And we lost our ship 3 times. But like, if I ever do start streaming again, I think Sea of Thieves is what I want to stream, because the fact just like doing absolutely nothing, turning around and realizing your boat is like 7 miles out to sea and kind of halfway sinking is like the most perfect. Like, Sea of Thieves is such a good game at like building organic bits like inside the sandbox, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's just things that happen and they just are funny because they just work so well.
Yeah.
It's like the kind of like gimmicky like slap humor that like Pirates of the Caribbean have, like the best parts of those movies. But like, it just happens organically, and there's not a lot of games I can say that do that.
I also think that Sea of Thieves, for me personally, when I'm playing with people, just sets me up for some good bits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm not focusing on the gameplay overly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? That it's like...
There's a lot of tools in the sandbox for you to fuck around with and like come up with, you know, stupid shit to do.
Like, one of my favorite things to do is if you leave a banana on the stove, eventually it'll light on fire. So I'll just like get off. Like when I was playing with Angie, one of my friends who doesn't know how to play the game, I just put a banana on the stove and got off and just like came back to her screaming with the ship burning down. It was awesome.
Exactly. Versus like games like Halo or Gears or COD or even like For Honor type shit. Like For Honor's a bit different, but like there's only so much you can do with the sandbox when you're just like, you just stop playing the game because if you like fuck around too much, like, you know, there's none of that like organic gameplay that just comes through while you're playing.
Well, and it's even it's even like the whole thing of like you and I can just dick around even outside of the game, but that doesn't come at the cost of gameplay. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
And I think I like that.
I want to do Sea of Thieves again just so I could dress up like a pirate and do a stupid voice the whole time. Get really into character.
You know what I love? I love that there's the game chat is like, God, what's it called? Like the aerial chat? You know what I mean?
Proximity chat.
Like the proximity chat. I love that. I love the fact that if somebody get closer, you can dress up as the British and scream about tea. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I saw a clip on TikTok earlier today, actually, of someone. It was a lady streaming. She was in full pirate getup and doing an accent, and her ship was going by someone else's ship, and she asked, I don't remember exactly what it was, but she was asking for directions, and they were like, "What are you talking about?" And she, you know, it was like a balls in your mouth type joke. You know, see if these nuts fit in your mouth. Like, it was like one of those type of jokes, and then she said it, and you could hear the other person on the other boat go like, "Fuck you," man the cannons, and they just start firing.
Dude, I love that shit, man.
It's so perfect. Like, there's very few games that have like that chaotic energy.
That's what I've been trying to sell you on that game for a while, haven't I?
I know. It's just like the quest part of it. I gotta have like a big crew for it, because like when you just play Sea of Thieves with 2 people, for me, it's like you go through a few bits and then it just sort of like runs stale quicker, because I feel like there's less to do when you have less people. It's kind of like doing Destiny with like 2 people versus like a full fire team raid of like 6 people. You know, it just doesn't feel the same.
So I think that like we gotta build ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, hell, fuck, we'll start hosting Sea of Thieves nights, you know? See if these nuts fit in your mouth. But like...
Sea of Thieves Sundays. But I think, it's like the game just, it gives you like the naturalness of it, you know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
And that, I don't know, I think that like there's the quests and stuff, which are like, I think the original Tall Tales, like the base game ones, are a lot less tedious.
Dude,
and like Pirates... more puzzle solving than the new one.
The Pirates one was like so fucking gay.
Dude, the Pirates one, it starts out so fucking stupid. Yeah.
It's like 7 hours of cutscenes, and it's not even like skippable cutscenes. Yeah. It's like the cutscenes that you sit there and you listen to them.
Yeah. It's like the cutscenes while I play. Like at this point, just give me a fucking cutscene.
Yeah.
Like, let me get up and walk away. You know what I mean? I don't care.
It's fucking dumb.
I also like the customization. I also like the customization of the game.
It's neat.
And how for majority of it, you can't.
I don't know how grindy it is. You know, like I know the store has like coins and stuff, but
I think the issue with the game is definitely playing with 2 people. Especially if it's like a very serious thing, it's boring really quick. That's why I tend to play the game, because I like playing the game. I like doing the quests and stuff like that, but I hate selling. That is my biggest issue. Every single time I get an LFG and we get there and we got like $500,000 worth of coins, and it might take us like 10 minutes to do all this. I'm like, all right, guys, this was fun. And I just get off.
Yeah, you guys enjoy the loot. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. That was fun. I don't want to do this part, you know. Or I'll just put my controller down, get up, and walk away.
Yeah. That's how I feel like whenever I do play Skyrim and I do a dungeon, and it's like a really long dungeon, and it takes like half an hour to get to the bottom, and then I finish it and I grab it and I'm like, okay, where's the exit? And it's like, oh no, I have to root my way all the way back to the fucking door and go in this fucking march and not lose myself on the way there just to fucking leave.
Stupid.
It is.
It's like me with settlement, right? Like I'll build a settlement in Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Spend like an hour on it, right? Like, well, that was fun. I can't wait to play this game again in a month.
Yeah.
And I'll just do one settlement a month, and I won't even play the game.
I had a really weird interaction on YouTube where someone commented about like, you know, like I have a little intro thing. It's like the parody of the rating system, and then at the bottom it says Fallout 4 is bad. Yeah. I had someone comment like, and they quoted it. They said Fallout 4 is bad. That's a weird statement. And then they like went on this thing where they were kind of like talking to themselves, and they're like, but it's not as good as Fallout 3 or New Vegas, and the building system is kind of and it's not as balanced and so maybe Fallout 4 is bad. And I'm like, why did you just sit there and write, like what compelled you to write that out?
You should have responded to that with that. What compelled you to like write this statement?
What compelled you to have a conversation with yourself where you asked a question, answered it for yourself, and then agreed with your question? Like, people on the internet fucking astound me still. Like,
dude, they do. It's insane. They're like little weird folks.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Hot take though, I don't think I really enjoy Fallout games. Yeah.
I don't really. I like Fallout 4 for the mods, and that's it. The world was cool, but like now I'm like, I don't really. It's not as interesting. There's very few worlds like that where like I feel like a lot of worlds, especially like game worlds and stuff, like the more they tell you, the less interesting it is. That's
why I like Mass Effect right now, right?
Yeah.
Because I haven't really been told anything. I had to ask about it. You know what I mean? So like it makes me want to. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's also a whole different thing. Like there's a difference between like a game that just like tells you everything and a game that makes you ask everything. And it's like I much prefer the latter. because it means I can ask the things that I think are important. And then if it's other shit, like, oh, who's the janitor who works here on Sundays? I'm like, I don't really give a shit about that, man. Just let's move on, you know?
See, that's where you're not different. I give a shit about this. I think it's funny, right? Because it lets me in every time. It gives me this tidbit of information about this guy that's a janitor.
I care. I'll give you
so he must...
I'll give you the slightest bit of advice. If any of your companions ask you to do a quest for them, you fucking do it, or you're gonna hate yourself. Unless you really don't like that companion.
That's what I did with the Outer Worlds.
Dude, I was
the Outer World.
So fucking what do you call it? Like the first time I did the Outer Worlds, I think I only did Parvati's like hero quest line. And then it was like, okay. Yeah. And then like the second time I played through it, I was like, well, I'd never like spent time with any of the other companions because I just like Parvati that much. I played with Parvati and like the cleaning bot the whole time.
Yes, yep.
Because I just like their dialogue, and I think Parvati's adorable. But like the second time I ran through that game, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna go through every single like character's interactions and stuff. And I was like, damn, there's 6 really good quest lines here. I think the only one I didn't like was the Hunter Lady, but like otherwise the game did like a decent job of like making companions that matter. Versus Fallout 4.
Here we go. I was waiting for that.
I can't think of a single companion in Fallout 4 that I still kind of like. I kind of like Dance.
Dude,
and that's it.
I can't think of a single quest that I enjoyed. Other than the little boy in the freezer that has so much lore implication and plot holes in it. Right?
Yeah. How do you get there?
And probably the Silver Shroud one because I thought that I got new dialogue. Funny.
I think do you think the boy in the fridge is like Indiana Jones?
That's dude, I don't. That's what I was thinking, but I like sat there and I'm like, so wait, so do ghouls not have to eat food? I'm very confused.
I don't think so.
Like do they not need oxygen?
I don't know.
Because in my knowledge of fridges, that like if you lock yourself in a fridge, you could suffocate. Yeah. And
depending on the fridge. Well, if it's been through a nuclear war, it might not be seal proof, but I don't know.
I mean, obviously not, because it's been through a nuclear war, then like the radiation is through. You know
yeah.
What I mean? I just like don't understand. Like,
what's the story on that? Did he hide in the fridge and then he became a ghoul inside of it?
I don't remember. I just know that I heard this fridge speaking to me, and I was like,
is it the lore accurate Indiana Jones? Yeah.
And then like somehow I was really hoping that you get to find his parents. His parents would be dead. I thought that'd be interesting. Not because I have like this morbid humor, but I thought that then I could like recruit this kid back to my settlement. Like, it's okay, buddy. I'll give you a place to live. Like, do the nice thing.
Yeah.
I mean, his parents are alive, and they're like in this rundown shack, and I'm like, okay. I feel like I've seen this before in Finding Dory. I don't know if you've watched that movie.
I have.
I like replay that, and I'm like, dude, it's like the seashell shit all over again. Except I'm the seashell. That's Dory, and that's her parents.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like there's so many examples of that game going like halfway. Like if you do the Far Harbor quest before you blow up the Institute or whatever, or if you're like in their graces, you have like that option to like warn the Institute about the the place up in Far Harbor. Yeah. But it's like they didn't get any of their actors back to like integrate them into this quest. They just added a random dude who's literally faceless in a mask, who you've never seen before, but only appears for this quest to be like, oh yeah, I'll help you with that right away. And it's like, why did we bother to add this as an option if we're not going to go all the way with it,
I feel like the best way to go all the way with it, though, is that for any 3 of the factions you're aligned with, you should be able to like tell them about. If I'm like aligned with the Brotherhood of Steel, I want to throw the Pridwin over there and drop down on my power arm and kill every one of them.
It's the same thing with Nuka World, where like you have to do the game either expects you to be a psychopath or you have to do mental gymnastics to justify it,
Or you can just start killing them all. That's an option.
Yeah, but then you miss out on fucking everything else the DLC has.
Nah, but think about it, loot.
Fair enough. It's not like the writing is really there for you anyways.
Yeah, like, dude, I got halfway through that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I I beat it, yeah, and I like claimed the top thing, right?
Yeah.
And I like looked around. I was like, man, this is shit, and just started shooting people.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I think the best interaction I had in that game was probably when I did my Todd Thunder Thigh run through, which was basically I took a character, I made him ripped as hell, and then I made him 4 feet tall, and I gave him Benjamin Carmine's helmet from Gears of War, and then just underwear with like a minigun or whatever. So it was just this little 4 foot miniature dude in underwear and a helmet just running through the apocalypse. And I went through and I did the Nuka World shit, and I was getting introduced to all the bosses, and I just had really high charisma. So you know, when you go up to like the pack guy, you have the option to like intimidate him and make him look tough.
Yeah.
And I just love the voice line of like when you like scold him and he's like, chill man, chill, not in front of my guys.
Can you hear me? Okay, dude, I was like, you started talking about Thunder Thighs, and it started going. It like broke my pillow. It like broke my fucking internet.
Yeah. Oh Jesus.
But yeah, like, I think all the dialogue is
Starfield
really
looks
shitty,
like it's gonna be so shit, man.
Thank you.
I'm not excited for Starfield at all.
I agree.
I feel like the world wants me to be, but I can't. I just like the mods will be fun, and you know it'll be something interesting to like I guess play around with for a bit. But like, it doesn't. Nothing about that world makes me interested to explore it.
I just feel like I've already seen it. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
It's like every sci-fi thing. And the headset looks so dumb, and the watch looks so fucking dumb for $200, man. It's so ugly.
Why have I not been able to not bitch about a Bethesda game in a very long time?
We bitch about every single one. What are you talking about? I like as well that they still have a fucking Pip-Boy, but they just made it a smartwatch.
Yeah, like they could not come up with a concept.
Yeah,
you know,
do something else.
Like come up with something new. I don't give a shit if it's on my ankle and I have to pick my leg up, put it to my face. You know.
Yeah.
Like give me something. You know what I mean?
Like it's wild, but I love that like the Mass Effect has like those little hologram, like the arm interfaces they have.
Yeah.
Like it's a really unique thing that I've never seen before. And then you get like Starfield and they're like, I got a smartwatch. Fuck. But yeah, it looks so bad.
Me too, buddy, but I'm not in space.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't need to pay $200 for this shitty looking watch, but like
it's insane.
Yeah. Do you think they're gonna pull like another 76 and it's just not gonna be a smartwatch? It's just gonna be like a digital watch for $200 with the skin. Yeah, it's gonna have like the interface. It's gonna look like a digital watch, and then it's just gonna have like the regular arms, like the hands on a regular watch.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking like it's just like a rubber band. Like, it goes around your wrist with a cardboard watch. Right?
Yeah, it's like those Adventure Time like watches.
Yeah, no, that's yeah. It's gonna look stupid, and I'm so there for it. You know.
I'm not. I'm glad it's on Game Pass because I would not spend a dime on that game.
I think they were smart with that. I think that was a smart thing that they did with that.
Well, yeah. Now that they own Bethesda,
I think
I'm glad.
When I think Bethesda is just like threw the reputation in the shitter.
Oh right? Yeah, they haven't released like, anything good since like Skyrim, so it's like, why would I care?
No, I agree. Like it's so fucking
like
bad.
Bethesda's side companies are doing really well, like Machine Games, like Wolfenstein 1, 2, and Old Blood are great. Doom is obviously great. Dishonored, I haven't played the sequels to it, but like obviously Dishonored was great. But like Bethesda Studios as a studio has not made a good game since 2011. So like I don't really give a shit about Starfield at this point.
Well, I think that's why it was smart they put it on Game Pass. But so I was thinking, right?
Huh.
You know, about things like legged out, and you know, I just had this feeling of why is Spider-Man secretly your favorite superhero?
You just had a premonition of that, did you? So like,
I just had a premonition.
For me, Spider-Man has not been my favorite in a long time, just because like I didn't get the hype in the early 2000s and everything, like with the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, and I don't even really care for the Tom Holland one. I don't think he's as bad as everyone says he is, but like I still don't care. Like Spider-Man as a design just does not interest me. Like the blue and red suit is just, I don't know, something about it doesn't speak to me. versus like other heroes that I liked more. Like I really liked Wolverine, and I really liked a lot of like me liking a hero was kind of like how cool I thought they looked. That's why like I didn't like Superman for a long time either, because he just looked like so fucking basic and shit like that. But it's like I really liked Wolverine, and then like having his really good stories, and Logan and everything, obviously. And then like Superman I think is neat, and then like Batman I think is really cool because I kind of grew up on the Arkham games, like I feel like a lot of people did. And then it wasn't until like Spider-Verse and like Spider-Man 2018, like the PS4 game, when I was like, oh yeah, Spider-Man's really good. I see what everyone's getting, because those two things do Spider-Man infinitely better than Tobey Maguire ever fucking did. Like the Spider-Man PS4 game like almost made me cry. Like it's really good, and the suit, while still being red and blue, it's got like those white highlights that just make it look so defined and different. On top of like all the different suits and stuff you can like pick throughout the game that I just love. And then obviously Spider-Verse is a fucking flawless, tight narrative that works really well. But I think I missed out on the Spider-Man hype, but I'm like just recently catching up with it. I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. I see it. I think Peter Parker is probably not my favorite Spider person, but like I understand.
I think
more so the appeal of the character on a wider sense. Like I used to kind of like characters like Deadpool, because Deadpool is like, he's funny, he breaks the fourth wall, but that gets very old very quickly, I think, especially when it's not very creative. Like Deadpool 2 was kind of an underwhelming movie to me after the first one, and it's like a lot of those.
It's kind of always the same shtick. You know?
Yeah, it's also like the thing about like comedy stuff, like comedy action superhero stuff. I can watch once and then never again. But like a superhero thing that also has a really strong emotional narrative, like Logan or like Spider-Verse or Guardians. Yeah, those ones I can get attached to and I can watch multiple times because they're just good. Like they have characters that I like care about and I like to see. Versus like I can only watch Iron Man 1 maybe once a decade because it just doesn't do anything for me, you know?
Yeah, and I can agree with that. I don't think, rather than Spider-Man, like for the PS4, I don't think there's been a really good Spider-Man, like Peter Parker iteration. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's fucking great. I hate that they keep changing his face.
Yeah.
They changed it again. Like, I don't know if you knew that, but like they changed it for Miles Morales or whatever, and then in Spider-Man 2 they've changed it again.
Well, I thought they've remastered it, so they changed the original Spider-Mans too. Yeah.
Well, they remastered it on PS5, right? And that one's changed, and then he's the same one in Miles Morales, and then in Spider-Man 2, the one that hasn't even come out yet, they changed his face a third time because they can.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's like the weirdest thing to me, because it's like, how am I supposed to, you know? I played through it with like the PS4, the classic face, and it's like now I don't relate to this new guy because it's not the Spider-Man I played a whole game with, you know?
Yeah.
I also think his voice just fits like the more mature face better. I kind of like having
the original.
Yeah, I think having a more mature Peter Parker I like. I feel like I've seen too many iterations of Peter Parker that's in high school or in college. Like I'm kind of tired of it. I really like the Peter B. B. Parker in Spider-Verse, you know, when he's got like his fucking kid and everything. Like,
well, it's kind of like
I also just like seeing
Year 2 Batman. You know what I mean? Like Year 2 Batman is probably one of my favorites, just because I feel like I've seen so much Year 1.
Yeah, it's also like I like seeing the spotlight go to other Spider people, like Miguel O'Hara and like Gwen Stacy, because you get to keep the same sort of Spider-Man formula, but you get to play around with it a lot, and I like those kind of like multiversal stories where everything is like similar, but it's slightly twisted in a way that's like really interesting to me. I just like those little like spin-off type stories, you know?
I agree. Like I really hope at some point we get to see more Scarlet Spider. I think he's got an interesting like cuz he's just a clone, you know?
Yeah. Just super fucking dramatic all the time. But like that's why I think we've been going for an hour. But I think that's why I like Mortal Kombat 1 and what it looks like it's doing, because it's obviously a lot of the same characters and they all have the same names, but they're remaking it and giving them all new like origin stories, which I think can be interesting because it's like a thing that DC does all the time, right? Where you have like Batman, but now it's steampunk. Batman, but now he's a fucking samurai. Like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And like same thing, we were just talking about Spider-Man, like with all these, it's the same story but different iterations of it and it's slightly altered. I kind of like the idea of that. And the fact that Mortal Kombat is doing that after like 25, 30 something years of the same thing. Like it's kind of, I think it's really interesting to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised this is like the first time they're like properly like rebooting the franchise, because they've done like reboots, but it's like somehow kind of kept the same story versus like this is like an all new, actually like properly rebooted.
But it just looks really good too, I think, for me.
Dude, it's gorgeous. I don't know what the fuck NetherRealm uses. I think they just power their games like at NASA, but NetherRealm's games are fucking incredible. Like MKX was 2014, I think, and that game is fucking gorgeous. Injustice 2 was 2017, and that one's there's a bit of
that game's beautiful.
It's like it's not perfect, MKX, obviously, but it's like
MKXs. I find they look waxy almost.
They do. It is a bit like, I think it's a bit grittier. Like it definitely still has like that Xbox 360 era like tinge to it.
Yeah.
And then I think Injustice 2 is like where they got like their more modern style that they have now, right, with MK11 and then obviously MK1, and now it's like fucking crazy.
Injustice 2 is like crazy for how it looks, you know?
Yeah, for the
like
day
even I go back
out,
and I
like
played today, and I'm like, holy shit!
There's not a lot of games that like have that fidelity.
It's a beautiful game, and I think just like I love like NetherRealm's fighting games.
Yeah,
I like that there's a difference between Injustice 2 and Mortal Kombat 11, like playstyle wise.
Yeah, like they have their own like it's not just Mortal Kombat, but DC skinned. It's like it has its own mechanics with the clashes and shit like that.
But just even like the pace, yeah. Like Mortal Kombat 11 is much slower than like Injustice 2. And I played a fuck ton of Injustice 2 and a little bit competitively.
My biggest gripe right now with MK1, I do not want to see Homelander in the fucking game. I think he's pointless. When you already have Omni-Man, like Homelander is so fucking stupid.
He's just Omni-Man, but like weaker and with laser eyes.
Dude, he's like barely. He's not even close to Omni-Man. like, he's. I'm trying to think. He's probably on the scale, power-wise, as like, I don't know, Captain America. But with laser eyes.
Superboy.
Soldier Boy.
Superboy with like I know a Superboy. You know who Superboy is?
I do not. Is that like the second Superman?
Like Superman's. That's like Superman's son, or like
the gay one.
His clone, or I don't know. Oh. Yeah, probably. Well, there's the one Superman that's a clone of him and Lex Luthor, right?
Oh, that's wild.
And it's Superman. What's the one? He can't fly and uses laser vision.
Who's the one that got his ass beat by Batman and Superman, so he just turned himself into Batman and Superman? You know what I'm talking about?
I can't, dude. I think I know what you're talking about. I cannot remember.
The one that's like literally split down the middle.
Well, no, I don't think that's one that got beat. I think that's when Superman and Batman they joined together somehow.
No, I think it's like actually. Like it's something like that dude did to himself.
Oh, I don't know. But okay, so on the topic of Mortal Kombat, to go back at this because I'm stuck on that other one, so I can figure it out. What other guest characters do you think they're gonna throw in there?
They'll probably do in the next one. They'll probably do a bunch more Mortal Kombat characters, obviously. If they're going. Because what are the guest characters they have now? Omni-Man, Homelander, and Peacekeeper, huh? I assume if that's the case, they're probably going to keep it with superheroes. Because that's like they kind of have a theme in every game, right? Like in MKX, it was horror movie characters. Like they had Leatherface and Alien and Predator and Jason. In MK11, they had like all of the 80s action heroes. Like they had RoboCop and Terminator and Rambo. I think with
and Joker for some reason.
Oh, and Joker, because they always have a DC crossover. Like MKX had.
Yeah.
Did MKX have one? I don't think so. But like Injustice had Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
Well, and Injustice 1 had
Scorpion.
Yeah, the first Injustice had Scorpion,
and the second one
Injustice 2 had Raiden and Scorpion. Raiden Sub-Zero.
Yeah, but like,
so I'm curious to wonder. You know what? You know who I would have much preferred. You know what I get? If they have a Homelander skin, you know what Homelander skin I hope they give us?
Huh?
Ultraman. I don't know if you know who that is.
I have no fucking clue.
But Ultraman is the evil. Is like so like in the other Earth, but DC there's the Crime Syndicate instead of the Justice League. We've got like Owlman. You know, like the criminal version of the Justice League, and Ultraman is Superman's bad alter ego.
Okay, I see it. Yeah.
What time is it?
Would you rather?
I'm giving him about 7. Sorry, continue.
Would you rather see Ultraman or see like I don't know what are like the best, just evil version? Because is Ultraman just evil Superman, but just a different universe?
Ultraman is like different. Well, no, he doesn't start out as Superman. Yeah.
Like, is he Clark Kent?
It's like this total. No, he's Clark Kent. I think. Yeah, he's Clark
Kent. But in
a
different universe.
But not all of the Crime Syndicate are the same characters.
Yeah.
Like if I remember correctly, Owlman's origin is that like in this world that Bruce Wayne and an older brother that like and Alfred's evil, and he like pays him and Alfred like pay for like his family to get killed so he gets the fortune.
Yeah.
You know? But like or even if it's just like Injustice 2 Superman, I almost would have preferred that over Homelander. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like to see that crossover, I think would have been cool.
To see like the Brainiac Superman come back from the Superman ending of Injustice 2, like that'd be interesting. I'd rather have that than Homelander.
I just think Homelander's such like it's just Superman weaker, and if he was a piss baby.
Homelander's Homelander's kind of overhyped. Like he's not even the coolest character in The Boys. Like he's a really good villain for that show, but like in that show. Like, I am totally convinced that Johnny Cage could kick Homelander's ass.
I'm convinced that anybody could kick his ass, yeah?
Basically anyone in the Mortal Kombat. Maybe Stryker, because he's just a cop, but, like, you know, Stryker also beat the shit out of demons.
I think
yeah.
I think Stryker's done enough.
Mortal Kombat, they're built different, but, like, yeah.
I think Homelander is just such a like I've never got the whole oh my god it's evil Superman. We've seen this before, people.
Yeah.
Like oh my god it's what if
there's
Superman
one
is bad?
there's
We've
another
seen
one
this
in
before.
the game.
This idea has been around for a lot longer than Homelander.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you know.
Yeah.
But if you put Omni-Man aside, just like evil Superman being Superman exist. It has already existed, you know? Like, this is not a concept that's, like, new to the world.
Not to mention they have the exact same, like, superhero, like, moveset, other than the fact that Homelander has laser eyes and Omni-Man doesn't. Like, that's the one thing I think that they don't have. And, obviously, Homelander is just weaker on average.
I think it's shown, at least, as, like, I think Omni-Man's stronger than Superman, though. I think Omni-Man's got more strength. Yeah.
I have no idea. That's like when you start talking about like actual like heroes, like Homelander's obviously not an actual hero, but like or an actual super person, but like I don't know, because there's so many like stupid Superman shit. And
it's stupid. I think just this thought of like I just want to rant for a minute about the thing I've already been ranting about. Yeah.
Okay.
I think like what the boys did was interesting, right? And I get that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Super cool. You know, I'm here for it. But there's this hype about Homelander, which I just don't think he's like a very. I don't see how people hype him.
I think
like hear these things like he's like what is Superman? We're like evil. And I'm like oh, he exists. You know? That's
yeah.
a thing that happens.
DC's done that.
But with Superman, it makes
so many
sense.
times.
It's got like this moral impacting thing, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a good reason. He's just a piss baby. Why do you care?
Like Homelander
like,
works.
It's fucking lame.
Homelander works best when he's not just evil Superman, you know? Versus like Omni-Man works because he has like that relationship, and it's kind of like the subterfuge of it all is why I think he works. The fact that like he beats Mark to a pulp and then like you see him like kind of like stop himself, versus like Homelander is most interesting when he's just sort of like not doing anything about his superpowers at all. Like there's not a whole lot of superpowers that they use in The Boys to begin with, because it's mostly like a people drama, and like that's when he's most interesting. He's not most interesting when he's fighting, because he doesn't ever fucking fight. Like that's not his thing. And it just, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's wild to me that they picked like two like super similar characters. Like I would have rather gotten another DC character like Peacemaker in there. Like give us fucking, I don't know, King Shark. I'd rather just see something else.
I'm trying to think of like that would have been an
Thomas Wayne or like Red Hood.
Speedster. Like the Red Hood. You want to get really fucked up. You go with Reverse Flash. I was about to say that. Reverse Flash. Like there's so many more interesting, because I think Joker in MK11
he works really well.
Fun thing that they did.
Yeah,
it works really well. I wasn't really a fan of the design, but I think it's because I'm a bit of a little bit piss baby when it comes to certain things, right?
It was me, Scorpion. I jerked you off at supersonic speed. Or like, fuck, dude, I'd like to see Hellboy. After seeing Hellboy in Injustice 2, like seeing a character like that just like go fucking ham wild on someone.
Even the Ninja Turtles, I thought in Injustice 2 were done really well. Yeah,
I wouldn't see the Ninja Turtles because I don't see the Ninja Turtles like being super gory, but like.
Well, no, I'm not. I don't want them. I'm sorry. I was just saying that they were done really well in Injustice 2.
You know
who I want in Injustice? You know who I want in MK1? Huh. You want to know who I want in MK1? Shredder.
Dude, that would be fucking awesome. I want Shredder, and then I want him to have a skin that's just like him holding onto two cheese graters.
Dude, I think Shredder would work perfectly.
Dude, Shredder would be fucking awesome.
Dude, that would be so fucking cool.
Dude, actually, that's so fucking awesome. I'm just picturing like giving Shredder an outfit that's just like homemade Shredder, so it's just like he's holding onto cheese graters. He's got like the pot helmet on over his head, you know, like
it's got like little holes in it.
Yeah, it's like one of those like draining pits. But like, yeah.
I think that Shredder just fits with the aesthetic a little bit, you know?
Oh, he definitely fits it more than, I think Homelander does. But
Homelander, yeah. I think I would love to see that personally. And I think like there's a lot more you can do, because I just don't see like with the difference between Omni-Man and Homelander. Yeah.
Other than the fact that Homelander's kind of worse.
I really hope one of Omni-Man's finishers, he gets on the ground, kneels in front of you, beats the shit out of you, and goes, "Stink!" You know? I really hope that.
Dude, they record a line for every single character. Think, Scorpion, think! Think, Katana, think! Dude.
I really, like, if they have that in there, I will shit my pants.
I'm so happy to have, what the fuck is his name? But the dude come back to voice, because I'm pretty sure they got all of their actual voices to come in and voice these characters. So to like hear J. Jonah Jameson like talking shit to Scorpion is gonna be fucking amazing, you know?
Dude, I think seeing Omni-Man, I saw that in Peacekeeper, and I was like, that works. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I think Omni-Man and those work, and then I saw Homelander, and I'm like, great, can't wait to hear like a little piss baby scream about how he doesn't think he's important.
Yeah.
You know?
Or like I'd rather get like specifically like the Ezra Miller Flash, you know? So like one of his finishers can be like he just throws a bar stool at you at a Hawaiian bar, you know? Like I just want some really out of left field shit, you know? Or like give us like more like I just
want to see Omni-Man stand on top of a character and go, "Think!"
Yeah.
Because he's like beaten to a pulp.
I think Bane would be a really awesome character to like bring into Mortal Kombat 2, just like his whole grapple style. I really like the Bane that was in. I like Bane in Injustice 1 and 2.
Yeah, Injustice 2, Bane was my second main.
Besides, but I almost Scarecrow. I kind of would have preferred like the Injustice Superman rather than Homelander, because like he's more menacing than Homelander to me.
That's what I was saying. Even if it's like Ultraman or if it's just like Superman,
yeah,
right? You know what I mean? Then I feel like having that DC and Injustice that Mortal Kombat Injustice crossover works because it's canon that these crossovers happen. You know what I mean? Like Raiden talks about it as dialogue options in MK11, right? Like I'll call it canon. we'll talk about it, right?
Well, it is canon. Yeah, he's like, I once fought a Black Knight or a Dark Knight or whatever.
Yeah, and like
you can hear Sub-Zero and Joker talk about Batman.
Yeah, and I think that would. I think it's just it's cool. You know,
this is also a thing. I think Joker fits better in MK11 than he does in Injustice 2.
I don't think he should have been in Injustice 2.
He was very obviously shoehorned in just so they could keep Joker in, but like,
yeah. No, I think they were shoehorned in because they needed Harley Quinn to have this moment where she's like, "Oh my God, Joker!" You know what I mean?
Joker is evil. Harley Quinn would have been a really good pick for Mortal Kombat 2 as well. After they they had Joker.
Oh yeah.
I think any of Batman's rogues gallery would have fit well in Mortal Kombat.
Killer Croc would have been fun.
Yeah, Killer Croc, Bane, Harvey Dent.
Oh, Two-Face would be fucking cool. Dude, that would be some cool shit, man.
I'd like to see a fatality where he flips the coin and it actually like has a 50-50 chance of like being a mercy, you know? Like that would be a sick ass fucking idea.
It's a 50-50 where and if it lands on like the good side, then you just like revive.
Yeah, like you know how you can mercy in MK11.
I'm trying to think of some other ones that would be really like that'd be fucking cool. God, what other ones would be fun? Could you imagine the Riddler?
I would rather have Soldier Boy.
So yeah, Soldier Boy would have been a cool option. I feel like any of them would have been cooler than fucking Homelander. It's just,
I'm sure they're only doing Homelander because The Boys is doing so many like crossover shit with because Homelander isn't Warner Brothers. Like they didn't get him like in the same way they got. I don't think Omni-Man is either. I think they only did Homelander and Omni-Man because they're both gearing up for another season. I think Invincible got a season 2 trailer recently, and The Boys is obviously gearing up for season 4. Like they added Homelander and everything to Call of Duty, and the cat people are less out of place than Homelander in Call of Duty. I gotta say.
Well, it's
like
weird
Sergeant
he uses his heat vision for finishers, but he won't kill them with it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know? Like, sorry. It's I just don't get the hype behind The Boys. I've tried to watch it.
It's a good show, I think. I just think that Homelander is not the coolest character out of that. And there's a lot of people, I think, that just like Homelander because in the same way they like Heath Ledger's Joker, you know? Or they just like the Joker in general.
Yeah.
Like that fucking clip of like Homelander going like, "Look at me," and it's like people use it unironically, like they post photos of wolves howling at the moon. It's like the cringiest shit in the world, but they do it regardless.
I think my favorite meme I've gotten out of that is when he answers the phone. And he's like, "Who is this?" He's like, "I just nut a cup." You know what I'm talking about?
I just beat my meat into a cup.
I just beat my meat to a cup. That's like my favorite thing.
Hey, I
love that.
You want to lay off the weed, man? How about you gargle my ball sack? Yeah, dude, Soldier Boy would have been so great because he like talks shit and he has like that swagger on him that I think would have worked really well.
I can't. I honestly, I had this expectation for Homelander's like intro dialogue to just be like some really insecure shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
You know what would really fucking be cool, and it kind of sucks because it's all Warner Brothers and like DC, so it's probably like impossible to get like Deadpool or Wolverine or like fucking black suit Spider-Man in a Mortal Kombat game.
Carnage, I think, is something. Carnage.
Yeah, Carnage or Venom would definitely be great. Or like Wolverine. Can you imagine? I mean, Wolverine is kind of just like Baraka, but you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say just reskin Baraka at that point and just give him a new voice actor.
Yeah,
you know?
Like they gave us the Batman Who Laughs through Noob.
Yeah, I would.
They did do that too. They gave Baraka a Killer Croc skin. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they did. I think Carnage. But Carnage was something I remember being talked about at MK11. It would be cool, right?
Yeah.
But I think Carnage by far out of like DC stuff would be. I mean, MC like Marvel stuff would be really cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a more brutal Marvel villain. Dude, after watching the movie, with how menacing he is, the Spot would be a great. I would love to see the Mortal Kombat finishers you can drum up with the Spot, you know, with the portals and shit.
But I feel like we kind of already have that, yeah.
Well, yeah, with Noob.
with Noob. Like I was gonna say, like I think the spot's
and like
cool,
Quan Chi
but
does
I
that
think
too.
we already have that with Noob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But either way,
I do think Carnage or Venom would be a really fun mix.
Yeah.
I think Shredder would be another pick that I would absolutely love.
Shredder, but he's got to have the cheese graters.
Yeah, he's got to have the cheese graters. But in like a serious way, I also think Shredder would work really well.
Do you think it would be better if it was like a more comical like Shredder outfit where he's got like the purple cape and everything, or do you want to see like the Michael Bay Shredder that's just all knives?
No, I want to see like the purple cape, like the one that's kind of like the more...
Dude, I think we talked about this already.
I
Optimus Prime.
Michael Bay Shredder. Dude, you're so right. I didn't even laugh like that. You just like shot back memories into my head. Yes, dude, I just went him from the knees down, just the feet. One of his fatalities that he just jumped.
And his name is Optimus Prime.
One of his we'll kill them all. I want Sam Witwicky to like one of his intros be like Optimus. That would be so awesome. That would be so hype. That would be funny.
I just imagine somebody like fucking like coming up and being like, "Are you one of the Cyber Lin Kuei?" And Optimus is like, "I will murder you and your family."
You won't live to see another day. But yeah, I'm part of me is it because I can already have kind of a feel of like what Omni-Man's movesets are gonna look like. Yeah,
it's probably gonna look like Superman.
I don't think so. I have this feeling that Omni-Man might be a bit of grapple. Yeah.
Maybe.
So I think Superman's involves a lot of like he has like his heat vision stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
I think he could very much probably look like a mixture of like the Injustice 2 Superman and Jax in MK11. You know how he like has like all those different grapple attacks. Yeah. Homelander is a weird one to me because Homelander like he never does fight in the show. Like all he does is throw a few punches and he uses his laser beam. Like he never actually fights someone properly.
Dude. Deadshot Part 2. It's just gonna be nothing but fucking laser beams. Are you excited? That's gonna be Homelander.
I bet
it's gonna be nothing but laser beams.
Injustice 1 Superman, like.
Oh, bro, Green Arrow, here we come.
It's gonna be so annoying, dude. The MKX Jax with the rocket launcher, like that shit was fucking wild. Yes. But yeah, I don't know.
I think my favorite crossovers though were probably the horror ones.
From MKX. I think they make the most sense, you know.
I really enjoyed playing as Jason Voorhees and Alien, like the Xenomorph and the whatever the fuck his name is,
the Predator
Leatherface, and who is the fourth one? Oh, and Predator. I really like that. Well, because Freddy Krueger was in Mortal Kombat 9.
Oh yeah, so was Kratos. I'd like to see more fucking spin-offs like that, dude. Kratos would be an amazing pick. Oh,
dude,
man.
Kratos instead of Homelander. There you go. Right.
I would rather. Yeah. I'd rather get like Jin Sakai, you know, or like.
I want Atreus.
I would rather have John Starfield.
I'd much prefer Ferritor. You remember who that is?
Yeah.
From MKX.
Dude, a Space Marine with that'd be fucking cool.
Dude. Todd Howard.
Just modern day Todd Howard. Nicolas Cage.
Todd Howard. He's got a notebook and he just sends like error crashes and like large updates to you. Yeah.
His ranged
moves is the band hammer.
His ranged is he's just got like 700 cases of like Skyrim Anniversary Edition. He's like the Switch, the Xbox, the PlayStation, the PS5, and the Xbox One.
Alexa. You want a mobile game? That'd be so fucking awesome. Oh, that's what I want now.
Are you telling me you guys don't have phones?
Man.
Oh, man.
Man. The penguin would be funny, I think, in MK1.
Danny DeVito's penguin with the fake nose that eats fish. All those like goofy ass ones, like Jim Carrey's Riddler. Oh god.
Dude, yes, Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze.
Oh. Dear God.
So Injustice 3 comes out. What kind of characters are you hoping to see in it?
Hold on, I'm actually gonna look up Warner Brothers properties. I want to go through these.
Are we gonna guess for more Mortal Kombat 1 as we do some of your predictions?
Yeah, I want to look at like what different things they actually have. Okay, yeah, obviously Warner Bros. Owns Warner Brothers. They own DC. I think so, yeah. New Line, so they own Lord of the Rings, I'm pretty sure. Because New Line made...
Gandalf. Gandalf. I want Gandalf in my MK1.
You shall not
pass!
For Frodo.
Dude, how cracked would it be if you're getting into a fight like as like Scorpion and this old man in a gray coat with a wizard head shows up?
No,
smoking
dude.
A fight with a hobbit beside him.
You know how every fight is like 2 phase? So at the end of the first phase, Gandalf, like, if he loses the first phase, he just like kills over, and then Gandalf the White rides in on a horse.
Dude, an eagle pops up and grabs him. And then a horse rides back and it's Gandalf the White.
Dude, Gollum.
Dude, yes.
Honestly,
I want Sauron.
I would have Gothmog.
Can I just have the tower? Can I just play as the ring?
Dude, so they own Cartoon Network. So like Finn and Jake win.
Ben 10.
Oh, Ben 10 low-key would go hard in Mortal Kombat, or like even just Injustice.
I think Ben 10 would work better in Injustice, though.
I think Ben 10, you could definitely do Ben 10 in the way they do like the TMNT, you know?
Yeah, I was thinking more like, because you know how like they like in Injustice they have like the special abilities you press B for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you just switch to a random alien.
Switch. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
They own Adult Swim. Hank Hill.
Rick and Morty. Pickle Rick. Among Us? Dude, I want the imposter. Among Us. I don't know why I went for Pickle Rick to Among Us.
HBO? Oh, shit.
I don't know what's on HBO.
Like Game of Thrones? Dude, they own CNN. I want a CNN reporter in Mortal Kombat 1 today.
Dude, I don't care if it's a reporter. I just want one of the background stages to be the CNN news reporter thing. I want to play as Scorpion ripping off Homelander's head. Well, CNN broadcasts some, like, I don't know, racist shit. I don't know what CNN broadcasts.
Yeah. Monolith? Oh, yeah, Monolith is fucking great. They own TT Games? Dude, we can have Lego Harry Potter appear in the fucking...
Dude, Minecraft Steve joined Smash. Get ready for generic Lego Man to join Mortal Kombat 1.
Dude, Lego Man would go so hard.
Dude, Lego Man would go so hard, dude. Wait, if they own that, then I can't wait for Injustice, the Lego game. Hear me out.
I'd play it.
Yeah, that'd be.
They own Rooster Teeth?
It was just like a retextured. What's Rooster Teeth make again?
They're the Red versus Blue. The Halo show. I'm quite chuffed with that.
I know what that is, yeah.
Yeah. What else do they own? Cartoon Network? Yeah, they own a lot. Animal Planet? Dude, let's just get a chimpanzee in there. It's just a chimpanzee. It's no character, no nothing.
Chimpanzee with an AK from... I hope you know who I want? I just want Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Just in his WWE like thong or no?
Yes. No, I was just thinking because it doesn't matter what character he's playing. You still watch the movie and you're like, that's just The Rock in a different scenario.
Yeah.
Hot take.
He's very much like Will Smith and Adam Sandler. Like they just played themselves, but in like something else.
Yeah,
and very quickly.
It's like when
who else? I think like Chris Pratt is like kind of on the line of like getting there. But
yeah,
they own Court TV, dude. I want somebody in handcuffs. They run out of the courtroom and onto the battlefield. They own Six Flags? Dude.
I don't want to pay my child custody.
Six Flags? Get that on there?
Wait, what's that again?
The roller coaster park. Oh, God.
Oh, man. Anything, dude, I'd take all these options over Homelander.
Dude, honestly, Homelander is not too great.
I just want to watch a guy in cuffs run out of a courtroom screaming out he's not going to pay his child support. Yeah. That's not my kid! That's not my kid! You know?
It's a dude running off the set of Maury or some shit.
I want Seinfeld. That's what I want. I want this, like, really... Dude, can I just
What's the deal with airplane food? As he's getting his face, like, pummeled in.
Yeah.
Scorpion, but your power is fire! And then he gets fucking murdered.
Yeah, he gets burnt alive. Your power is fire, but I better hope I don't have any ice cubes. As he just like a chain just slipped through his face.
Sub-Zero, no, the natural body temperature is 98 degrees.
It's just really shitty humor.
Humor that would have worked in the 80s, you know?
He's a dodge heavy character. So the whole point is to see if you can just outlast.
He just does like Shao Kahn style taunts, and it just slowly kills your health bar.
Yeah. Oh god.
That's too good. That's actually kind of wild.
Kind of wild, man. Kind of wild that they got all these great options, but they picked Homelander. You know,
right?
They had all of this IP, and they were like, "Nah, we're gonna go with this guy."
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna see what New. Oh, New Line has done all of the Austin Powers. Oh God.
How long have we been going for now?
Probably long enough.
Well, this was. So is this it?
Elf, dude. Elf, is that Elf? That is the Elf with Will Ferrell.
I want to see Will Ferrell in an elf costume rip the heads off my opponents.
Is there presents in here?
What do you don't believe in Christmas? Santa? Oh.
He just gets filled with a blood rage immediately. What do you mean Santa's not real?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you mean?
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Spyro, for tuning in this week to the Chaos Continuum podcast. We will be back next week to talk about the aliens that Ben has fucked in Mass Effect. Thank you very much for watching, and go fuck yourselves.